Your eyes are pulled up to like the center of your forehead, so you'll almost feel like you're crossing your eyes and then looking up, but your eyes are going to be closed. For those of you that are familiar with where your third eye chakra is, I'm asking you to pull your attention in there, which is to that point in your forehead, and then in like an inch or two. Still staying with your breath. And all the areas that you notice your breath while you're keeping that gaze point there. So now we're going to invite a memory in of a time that you felt really free. If another memory tries to invade that thought, thank it for being there and ask it to remove itself so that you can just focus on the memory of being really free. For me, it was riding my bicycle when I was a kid, or horseback riding. With that imaginary gaze point at your third eye, allowing yourself to feel the sensations of that moment. Allowing the memory of those sensations to come into your body. Notice what your face feels like right now with the invitation of that memory, along with the sensory input for your body. Notice what your throat feels like and your chest. And your solar plexus area where your tummy is. Okay. Now once you have that kind of in your cells, hopefully it's an elevated emotion for you. Now we're going to go to a time you just felt really good about something that came up that was right. Maybe it was answering a question on a test. Maybe it was a situation that you just knew the right thing to do. Any memory, and again, if a negative thought tries to come in, thank it for being there and ask it to remove itself so that you can just stay with the memory of that good choice, that good inner knowing that was correct. It might even have been something as simple as picking the right dish on a menu in a restaurant and you loved it so much. So now go to another memory where you have a feeling of satisfaction. So and it could be an accomplishment. It could have been getting your house really clean, or a project that you completed. And even in this memory, you can just see this mode of complete satisfaction run through you. And finally, find a memory following the same vibrational frequency that I've established thus far. When there was something that came up and you knew that it was what you thought it was, and it came and it showed itself to you exactly that. And you trusted that feeling inside of you. You knew that it was right, and it showed itself that it was exactly that. Maybe it was a job that you landed. Maybe it was an anticipated telephone call. Maybe it was anything that you knew that it was going to happen that way, and it did. Go back to the awareness of your breathing and just drop back into the breathing. And you can start to loosen up your posture a little bit and start to wiggle around more. Please let your eyes be the very last thing to come back online. Okay, so everything starts with an elevated emotion. Everything does. It's really important. This is why I took you through this kind of weird roundabout way to do this. So everything starts with an elevated emotion. So we really want to focus on those elevated emotions. We want to focus on those good things. We've all been right about things. We've all had an inner knowing about things. We've all experienced all of that. But it's like you have to get back to the connection of trusting that. So then when you can trust that, then when you're in certain situations, you can stop the stinking thinking brain. Okay, the stinking thinking brain is what like shuts your intuition off. It really, really does. So you staying and because then you see we can manifest anything we want. I mean, we really can. We can create anything we want. If we think that there's weeds in our garden, there will always be weeds in your garden, period. Because whatever you water grows. All right? So if that's where your mindset is, you will create that over and over and over again. But if your mindset is prosperity, happiness, joy, things work out for me, the right people show up when they're supposed to, I'm always in a good place, I always seem to be in the right place at the right time, I usually get the things I want. You know, if you start, even if you just start like tricking yourself to believe that, eventually it will be that way. Okay? And so you have to get the elevation up. So then when you're in those situations, you like navigationally, you know exactly where to go. You know exactly where you're supposed to be. You know who the right person is to talk to. You know who's going to be the right contact. You just know. Do, do, do. And your intuition is on fire. Okay? It's the other way, and then you start seeing everything through like distorted lenses, and then you're like, can't trust anybody, I can't do this, and you'll never go anywhere. Everything in your life will just be like, and nobody will want to be around you. But everybody's in this room. I say this every week. You guys are all in this room because you all want higher consciousness. Every single one of you. That's why you show up. And so, and if that's the case, then we get rid of all that other garbage. Okay. All right. Does anybody have any questions? Work on this vibrational frequency. Okay? So that's this week's assignment, is to work on your vibrational frequency. And all it is just remembering times that you were right. Ah, in a good way, not in a bad way, okay? Not like, I knew that guy was going to do that, okay? Let that go, because I got plenty of those. That's a whole different thing. So it's more like, oh, that's really cool. So I want you to start searching for the positives that you are right. Okay, that showed up. So I'll tell you a funny story about this place. So I sold my house. I got remarried. I moved down here. I say down here because I was in Chandler. And I moved down here and I was like, oh man, they already have everything I do down here. They have a Reiki place and they have a yoga studio and I do all those things. So my husband says, let's just walk in there and see what's going on. So we walked in here and then there was kind of like weird thing that I could tell it wasn't like really being run or supported by the owner anymore. And so we left and Chris goes, they should give that place to you. And I said, oh yeah, they should. And so through a weird turn of events, I was able to buy this place like within a few weeks of that. And so, and Chris was like, I knew that was going to happen. Why did you think it wasn't going to happen? I'm like, I don't know. And so it just like things will turn and shift for you If you, and really, I did know that I was going to be a business owner again because I had a business before. I knew all of those things. I knew it was all going to happen. I didn't know that this was going to work out the way that it did, but it did. And so, but it was came down to this like belief structure and me being weirdly directed. And thank heavens that Chris was there to like get any stinking thinking that was in my way out of my way. Do you know what I mean? So that's all. And then you follow your intuition and everything goes. Boom, 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 boom. Doesn't mean you're not going to turn in, get fertilizer for your garden. It doesn't mean that. You get fertilizer for your garden. That's part of life. Everybody knows what makes good fertilizer, right, Maddie? You know exactly what makes good fertilizer. Okay. She works at a beautiful organic farm. That's why I said that. And so we know what that's going to be, right? Okay. All right. So next week is the last week for this one. And then we'll be moving on into next month. And I can't remember what our theme is yet. I have to look. But it's really important that you guys try to practice this. Going into next month, as far as announcements go, we have the archetypal dance will be on the first Friday of next month. And she has the tower is that, the theme for that. Then on the first Saturday of the month, Carlin is teaching a workshop on yoga for bone health. So even if you're not somebody who's struggling with the threat of osteoporosis, it still is going to be a really, really fabulous workshop. And then we have a whole bunch of other stuff coming up later, but I don't want to bore you with too many things because you'll forget. So go onto our website, make sure you grab a calendar. Don't grab a calendar this week because I don't have the new calendars out. Grab it next week. Everybody come back and grab it next week. And I'll see you guys all next week. Just leave your stuff here, it's fine. We'll clean it. Thank you.